Beer?
What kind of beer is that?
Beer flavored beer. I'm a big like barley dog shit tasting beer.
Barley dog shit person. That's so
Yeah.
funny. I've never seen that before.
It's they don't pay me for this. I can't be. It's a beer
I'll
they
cut it out,
make
don't worry, I'll
here.
cut it out.
It's Mill Street. They make it
Should I
here in
Photoshop
Toronto.
it and make it look like a Corona? Just because they're not paying.
Just write beer.
Yeah, that's.
I
So
should have put a piece of paper on it.
I never got like into beer. The only kind of beer that I can get behind is like Guinness.
I understand.
Because
That
Guinness
makes
doesn't
sense.
taste like beer.
It tastes like fighting and Irish people.
Irish people?
Irish
My
people
best
are
friend's
dope.
Irish.
Do you know about like Irish people in general?
No.
They're fucking sick. Like
Are they?
yeah, they're really sick. They're like revolutionary type people. They're big like into Palestine. They
Oh,
were
shit,
big
really?
into like the liberation of South Africa because they fought their own revolutionary
Yeah.
struggle. And I say struggle because they like put car bombs under people's cars and shit.
That's crazy.
Look into it when you get a chance. Irish people are dope.
That's insane. Yeah, my best friend is Irish. It's actually such a crazy story how I met her, but she does definitely have that vibe to her as well.
They're fighters.
She like I've known her since I was like 9 years old, and she
No
like
way.
pretty much like taught me English and everything. She's like 60 something years old now.
Whoa.
I know, it's
Having
insane.
older friends is a elite.
I love having older friends.
Yeah. And like much older. Like at
Like
least
no,
20.
not like I'm 28 and they're 30. Like
No. We're yeah.
I'm talking like 60, 70.
Like back in my day, like
yeah.
sickest.
You're so funny.
I'm so down. Like I'm so down for a good old person. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Do you have old people friends?
I do. So I go to the gym and play basketball.
Okay.
And there's one guy who's, you know what? He's not that old. He's like 60, 61. He comes every day. He plays basketball with us full court every day.
Yeah.
And he talks more shit than anyone
That's so sick. I love that.
ever. So it's so much fun. He's actually a jazz
What's
drummer.
his name?
His name's Wilson. Shout out to Wilson.
Shout
He might
out
see this. I
Wilson.
have him on Instagram. He's a jazz
Really?
drummer. Yeah, he's a sick guy.
That's fire. He has Instagram?
Yeah, he does.
Damn, I wish my old friends had Instagram.
Aw.
Some of them like do, but like they're not like active on like Instagram, you know?
I love when old people post a photo of like half their face.
Bro, you know what's funny? I was telling, this is so crazy. Okay, wait, before I tell you this. Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Inside Out Universe. I'm so happy you guys are back. It's almost Persian New Year's. I don't know if it still will be when I release this, but also happy St. Patty's Day to people who celebrated St. Patty's Day. Today I have a very special guest. My guest today, Afta Hill, my friend, a filmmaker, producer, musician, and here to tell us all about his old friends.
I'm here.
Tell us about his old
Gonna go through my geriatric.
But no, I get it.
contacts.
Okay, so this is what I was gonna tell you. So, I had a class. It was
Yeah.
like it was okay. So this lady who I did this class with, our professor, she was one of the people who helped like do like certain. I don't know what she did, but she basically helped draft the Constitution of Illinois.
Whoa.
Okay, so she was very old. Can't remember her name. God bless her soul. She's so amazing. But we had to have class with her during like COVID, so it was all on Zoom. For the entire duration of our semester after, we could only see her forehead. Bro,
Old people angles are the best.
and we had like this debate with everyone where it's like, should we tell her to like whatever?
No.
And then we just like liked it. So we're like, yo, like just leave it.
So it's like a aesthetic. My new favorite type of like meme TikTok
Yeah.
is when an old person. Okay, so do you use TikTok?
Yeah,
Okay, so sometimes when you take a video, it'll automatically add a sound.
yeah.
So sometimes you'll get a video of like an old dude and he just like clearly like didn't mean to take a picture or whatever.
Aw.
And it'll be like a twerky Turbo Thoughty song and big bust his pussy open with the motherfucker and like he's just like here and he posted it and it just has like 400,000 likes.
That's so funny. Yeah, old
Best.
people are the best. But honestly, like I can't remember where I heard this, but I heard like it was a psychologist or something like talking about it and was like part of the problem nowadays is that kids don't associate with people of different ages anymore. You know, because like when we were younger, for example, like it was normal to have like your grandparents in the same house, your aunts, your uncles, your whatever. That was normal for us.
It's also a bit, I might be talking shit. It's a bit of an ethnic thing too.
like a cultural thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But I almost feel bad for kids nowadays because now it's like, it's weird. Like, it's like if you're a kid, what are you doing hanging out with like an older,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh, well, we can get into this. It's kind of boring, but Do you know the concept of third spaces?
No.
So like the first space is your home, the second space is your work, and the third space is like anywhere where you can hang out.
Okay.
So think of a park or whatever. One sort of plague that North America has is that we're running out of free third spaces.
Oh,
Yeah. So
that's
like
so true and so sad.
and that's where a lot of the interactions happen. Like
Happen.
chance interactions or just like I was telling you, okay, I go to play basketball. That is my third space because I see the same 20,
People.
30 people every day or
Yeah.
whatever, whenever I go. And you build a little community. And for some people, that's the park. And for some people, that's the gym. And, But it's like all of our third spaces are getting paywalled in a really
Yeah,
ugly
yeah,
way.
yeah.
And so, yeah, the chance encounters that you might have significantly decreased.
That's so crazy. Wait, I'm trying to think what my third space is. So you said the first one's your home, the second one is
Your work.
which sucks because my work and my home are the same space.
Yeah.
And then my third space, does school count?
Kind of, yeah. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I hate to be that person, but I love school. Like, I love the kind of people I meet there. Like, I love a good... Okay, I don't know how to explain this to anyone. When I explain this to my brothers, they're like, dude, it just makes no sense. You're just a nerd. But, like, I just love a good, old-fashioned academic space. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna let you cook. Get into it.
But yeah, I'm watching cook. Like, okay, so when I go to class, it's boring. Like, I get that. Most of the conversations, it's like, okay, I know he's trying to gear on the side of caution. He doesn't even believe this, like the professor. He's just trying to give us like a very PG-13, like very, neutral perspective on this.
Like what kind of topic are we talking about?
So now I'm getting my master's.
Uh-huh.
So
Mashallah.
thank you. So I'm doing a master's in common law. So it's
okay.
still kind of like law related subjects, but it's also mixed with like a little bit of like obviously like graduate school type vibes, right? So like for example, like my constitutional law professor. First I was like, super boring. That's not my favorite part of school. But then after class, like a nerd that I am, every day going up to this guy, hey, did you hear about this new thing, that new thing?
Oh, and they
literally
go off.
instantly he became my favorite person.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like people who, because like to certain people it's useless knowledge. Like why do you need to, like my brothers are those kind of people. They're like, who cares? Or like a lot of people will even be like, what was that? There's a saying that's like, those who know do, and those who are scared to do profess.
And those who are scared to do profess.
You know what I mean? So
I need
basically,
that's gonna ruminate in my head.
in your head, right?
Yeah.
But it's not true. In my opinion, watch me cook. Because professors, you're like, bro, is this girl okay? Because professors, there are people, most of the time, if they're actually like the kind of professors that are actually in love with what they do or whatever, they are the kind of people who ask questions about things that normal people would never ask. Their whole life is about just like exploring concepts and ideas and things like that. And who else in today's society does that or has time to do that? So the fact that they dedicate their lives to exploring just concepts, things that aren't necessarily things that pay off or whatever, but they're just curious about the world. I love that.
I think this
Sign me
is
up.
a beautiful tangent into
Emphasis on tangent.
well, it's not even a tangent. It's tangential. It's not a tangent, but not everything that is worthwhile is something that makes money or is, and I use the word productive here, but not like productive as in you're doing something, but productive as in the capitalist term, production.
Yeah.
Not everything worth exploring and doing is productive labor or whatever. A lot of things that are worth doing are not lucrative in any way.
Yeah.
Like whenever I think of this concept, I think of like we put people, we sent people to the moon, and like we didn't make any money doing so.
And they could have died.
Unquote. They could have died. Adjusted for inflation, I think the number is like $1 trillion or something.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of money to send someone to the moon for, I think it's like 26 hours and then have them come back.
Well, now it was 9 months, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
But you know what I mean? Like,
You know what I'm talking about, right?
what, are you talking about the ones who were stranded?
Who were stranded, yeah.
So apparently the International Space Station smells like shit. Have you heard about this?
No.
It smells like this. It smells bad. Like they give people allergy medication and shit because like they get headaches of how bad it smells. Because the
Really?
the air in there like it's recycled, right? So it's like, and it's been up there for fucking 10 years, 10, 15
You have a lot of
years.
what I call like, not in a bad way, but like useless knowledge.
Oh,
I have a lot of
man.
useless
I
knowledge
love
too. I
this.
love it. It's actually a lot more useful than people think. But I agree with you about the whole like paying thing. I obviously support that. But do you feel like that about music? I mean, you're a musician. How do you
Yeah.
feel about that?
The other day I was thinking about how like Michelangelo painted the Sistine Chapel
Okay.
for 16 years
Okay.
or something. You could fact check me. I don't know. It's
Don't
the
worry,
internet.
nobody on
Doesn't
this show
matter.
does any fact
Let's say
checks.
more than 5 years. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
And by the way, beautiful. I've been.
Yeah,
it's
amazing.
Incredible. Like it's one of the craziest things ever.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
now I'm like, you never see artists get paid to do projects that take more than 2 years for
Yeah.
anything really.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to think of any disciplined art that has consistent enough patrons to pay an artist to do something for that long. Like 10 I think it's 9 years, but
Yeah.
like imagine doing one project for 9 years and then imagine what that does to the art.
Yeah, that's true. You know, okay, I want to ask you why you think that is, but I agree with that, and I think it's so sad because I was talking to my friend Rocco about this the other day.
Shout out.
And yeah, he's right there. And when I went to Bali, I found this guy, like he was like this older guy that like was just like had a little hut and he was just kind of like painting. He was just like a fucking dope artist and he had the best view. And I went by and I was like, hey, like, can I come paint with you? And he was like, yeah, sure, come, whatever. So the next morning I went and started painting with him. Then I started asking him, I was like, okay, like, what have you painted? He showed me like all of these crazy paintings he had and how many hours he put into them and whatever. And he had this one painting that was like ginormous, like huge. And he told me how long he worked on it for. I think he said something along like 200 hours or something like that. Details of like these like horses, warriors, and all of this. And I was like, how much would you sell this for? And he was like, honestly, I would be lucky if I sold this for like $500 to like a tourist or something like that. Right? And I was telling Rocco, and I'm like, you know what? Like, a lot of people don't understand this about art, and a lot of people do, but art is not just about like something that's like visually like appeasing to you. It tells a story. Like, spending that much time with anything, you put so much of your energy and like so much of your life and so much of yourself in it.
I have a theory, or like, theory might be the wrong word, but the way I like to look at it, a perspective is the word I'm looking for, where art is a vessel for consciousness. So like how much every time that you spend energy and time on something, you're filling this vessel with some of your consciousness, because you can't get it back. You're not getting that time back ever.
Yeah.
It's linear. So like you're pouring an hour here, 2 hours here, 3 hours here, and then some artworks balloon up. You're like, I spent whatever for my first album. I spent probably closer to 200, no, way more, probably closer to 1,000 hours altogether, from planning to writing, mixing, mastering, whatever. But that's why I love that project, because it's like I put all that consciousness into it. Yeah.
So why do you think that is then that now we don't have things like that anymore as much? Things that take longer, or we don't fund things like that anymore.
Capitalism says work or die.
That's true.
That's it. So like make money or starve. There's no sense of like helping your brother to live, because if I'm super rich, or not even like if the state has enough money to make food and everything for everyone, it doesn't mean they will.
Yeah.
Or like
true.
if we have enough space and resources to house everyone, it doesn't mean we will. So you have to, make whatever $20 at the racism factory, working, 20 hours a day.
The racism
factory for
I love
Robert P. Moneybags and
I
shit.
feel you.
So it's like you don't have time to actualize on that level. You're just trying to pay the bills.
That's why I love like certain things. Like that's why I love TikTok, for example. Like I'm actually a huge advocate of TikTok.
Massive
I know
fan.
I love TikTok. like I've get so many because I love like art in general, like in any medium, and I get a lot of like painters on my For You page that like monetize the process of making these paintings,
Yeah.
so that they don't have to. Even if they, most of the time they do because they blow up on TikTok and are able to actually sell these paintings for what they're at least somewhat worth. But they're also able to monetize the process, which helps them make more
Absolutely.
art. I love that. That's what I love TikTok and stuff
My
like that for.
most successful musician friend, yeah, monetarily, definitely. My most successful musician friend is one who makes YouTube videos and does it really well and makes content really well, and he gets paid for that.
Yeah.
And then he's an incredible musician. I saw him today, but shout out to Simon if you're seeing this.
Shout out Simon.
He's an incredible musician. He's one of the best musicians I know, period.
What
right?
kind of music?
He's just like me. He's a producer, hip hop, R&B, whatever. Incredible stuff. Like my most popular song is with him, but
Which one is that?
Busybody.
She don't want anybody. I ain't just anybody. Yeah. I'm just a busybody.
Yeah, I listened to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's with him, and
Good song.
it's a great song.
Yeah, it's
that
fantastic.
song
I'm not
was
gonna
so
lie.
much fun to make.
It's
Yeah.
really good. Yeah.
So yeah, he's like he makes more money than my other friends who make platinum hits, and
So what does he do? Just like kind of like make money off of like YouTube and then funnel that into his art?
so he makes money off of YouTube. I think he sells courses, and like really good courses on like production and like
Yeah, not like
this-
scammy kinds
No,
of
no,
courses,
no,
like good ones. Yeah,
here's
I believe
80
you.
hours of actually learning how to do the thing.
Oh, that's fire.
And then like drum kits and stuff for producers, just like tools and things that add value.
Yeah.
But then he sells those, and then yeah, he makes YouTube videos, and he's got I think like 700, 800,000 subscribers, and
Yeah.
he makes more money than the guy who is a Grammy winner and has multiple platinum hits and stuff.
Yeah. It's become a little bit harder for sure, in my opinion, to make money off of art. Or maybe am I wrong?
No,
It feels that way.
Well, it's easier to make money. It's harder to make a lot of money.
Yeah. But you know, the upside of that, in my opinion, is that people are becoming very innovative in the way that they monetize their art. Like a lot, and I know that statement on its own is like really like not favorable for a lot of people. Like even myself, like as soon as you put like a monetary like value to something or like pressure on it, I don't want to do it anymore. No matter how much, like I loved music. As soon as it became about the views and the whatever that, I was like, I'm over it. And I still make music. I make music with Rocco all the time. I'm always in the studio when other people have sessions. I always love finding new artists. But in terms of like, it just sucked the fun out of it for me, you know? But now people have found these like very backhanded ways of like doing what they want and making money off of it and then funding what they're actually passionate about.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's dope.
There are more ways to monetize now, I'd say.
Yeah.
And they're easier to get into.
Yeah.
Which is good. But then the actual money that comes in is less. Mm-hmm. So like we're probably around the same age, I'd imagine. You don't, I'm not going to ask you.
28.
There you go. I'm also 28, 27, 28.
I love that you had to think about that.
I don't know.
Okay, yeah,
I don't know anything.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think I'm 27. I'm turning 28 this year.
Okay.
You remember a time where you had to flip through a book of CDs?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, 100%. You probably, like me, were a pirate of music.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's say some people weren't,
Yeah.
right? They would buy their CDs, like, whatever. That means every time you want to, like, get into listening to something, you got to pay $15. That means, if there's 15 songs, it's $1 a song. Okay, that's the value of, like, a listener. Not a listen, because, you buy it, you listen to it multiple times. But a listener.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Akin to a monthly listener on Spotify.
Yeah.
Now, as of recording this, I think I have like 2,000 monthly listeners. If those listeners were $1 a listener, I would be laughing to the bank right now.
Yeah.
But they're not. It's not even close. They're
Yeah.
nothing. It's a pittance right? It's a joke. So that means that we've devalued the art form itself. We've said that this thing. So like,
I get what you're saying though.
I want to give an example though.
Yeah, do it.
Here's a great example. Let's say TVs. No, let's say video cameras. This is a really good one.
Okay.
Film. When you had to shoot on film, it was really expensive.
Yeah.
Right. So the value of like a film was like
really
really
high.
high.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
like
yeah.
there's a high barrier to entry. It's very expensive. Film is expensive. Whatever.
Yeah.
And then as it gets cheaper, it's like, okay, here's a camera. It's like $100. We've devalued like the value of it, quote unquote.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that like making a film is any less important.
Important, yeah.
But we have devalued the like everyone shoots videos on their phone. This is, you know what I mean? Back
it's
in
not
the
special anymore.
no, it's not.
Yeah.
To shoot the film. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean the art form's not special.
Not special, yeah.
But the same thing with music now. It's like 1,000 times less important.
Yeah, that's true.
According to the racism machine or whatever. The
I
colonialism
love
machine.
these names that you have. But to be honest, like it is true though, because like even like mainstream artists now, a lot of the money that they make off of like tours and merch and this and that and whatever. It's rarely from like their streams and like their actual like music, you know. And it is sad, but I think like to everything that has a downside, there's an upside. So I do think people are getting more innovative with it. I do like that, but I do fear for like the future of art in general.
Yeah.
Especially
Do you know about Daniel Ek? Like
No,
the
who is that?
Spotify CEO?
no. Put me on.
If Daniel Ek, if you're watching this, please don't send me to the fucking explosion chamber or whatever.
Please don't take my podcast
Yeah.
off with Spotify.
Keep me on the racism machine. I need it.
With Robert Moneybags.
With Robert P. Moneybags. Exactly. Right next to Elon Musk and Peter
That's so
Thiel and
funny.
those weirdos. Daniel Ek is a billionaire. He's the Spotify CEO, or was the Spotify CEO, the founder, whatever, that guy who, you know, pulls the money upwards or whatever.
From the racism machine.
From the racism machine,
I
yeah.
got you.
He's like, he presses the change button and it
I'm
comes out the bottom.
I'm following.
Dude, he says the most fucked up shit about like music. Like as that person, he's always the one like dropping quotes. And I can't remember any at the top of my head, but every time I read them, he's talking about how like, oh, you know, fucking music's worthless, what, you know, whatever
Really?
type shit. And I'm like, damn, this motherfucker really like doesn't give a shit about music in any capacity. You know what I mean?
That's so fucked up to hear from somebody who has such a big platform like
You
that.
made your entire empire, you know,
On the backs of artists.
on the fucking spines of thousands of artists and producers and engineers and everyone, and
That's so
he doesn't give a
fucked.
shit.
But see, that's exactly what personally made me not want to. And again, this is a personal choice. I totally respect people who continue. I respect people who don't want to continue. But like, this is part of the reason why I didn't want to do music anymore. Because no matter what angle I looked at it from, it was just fucking a dirty, dirty game. You know? And like, other than the art form itself, to make money off of music just was not in the equation for me anymore. I think I have currently 17 monthly listeners.
Shout out to
Shout out
those
to my
17
mom.
people. Woo!
Shout out Mama June. But what about you? Like, does it affect all of these things that we're talking about? How does it affect your outlook on music and your own music?
I try not to let it affect my music, but like, what is it? They say like, don't bring the audience into the session.
Yeah.
Don't bring the business into the session. Just like, and it's easier said than done, obviously.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you start thinking of the audience shit, it sucks.
Yeah. Creative block instantly.
And also, this is another one. Don't bring your successes and failures into the studio.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Never, ever be like, oh, this worked, so I'll do it again. No, fucking,
Yeah.
It worked that one time. But that aside, it makes it kind of difficult. Like I score films for my friends and do sound design. Sometimes I edit for my friends. Whatever kind of gets the job done. But I will say that like a lot of the information is gatekept. Because, for instance, every stream, 88 cents of it Sorry, yeah. Of every dollar that you make streaming, 88 cents goes to the distributor, which, whatever, that comes to your pocket. But then 12 more cents is a mechanical royalty, right? And people don't sign up to collect their mechanical royalties. Some amount of that is goes to your performance rights organization. If it gets played on the radio, some of that amount of that needs to get collected from your neighboring rights organization. And all of these things are free to sign up for, but nobody tells you that there's four or five different means of collecting your money that you made already. Mm. Right?
It's yours. You just have to learn how to collect
You just have to know how to collect it.
How did you learn?
Shout out Dan. My boy Dan.
Shout out Dan.
Dan.
Damn.
Dan went to work in admin and publishing. And so his entire job was to collect on these things. And
that's awesome.
So
what a cool job.
Yeah, fully.
To take money back from the racism machine.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting?
I like Dan's job.
It's one of the few win-wins because he will approach an artist. The artist will have made, let's say, generated, not collected, generated, let's say $1 million, and they collected $500,000. Dan goes and looks at how everything is set up and says, yo, you have $5,000 in the air that you have not collected. I'll collect it for you. Give me whatever percent.
What is his job exactly? What is his job description?
It's like publishing and admin.
But does he work for a company?
He did, but now his current situation, is a little different. But
that's so fucking cool.
Well, but that's what a publishing company is, or a pub deal, or an admin deal. They just
How come I never hear about these people doing these kinds of cool things?
Because as I said, they're gay kept. It's not gay kept. It's just who's gonna tell you? Who's gonna
tell you to go get your money?
And it's everyone's listening to this podcast. Okay, here's the boring part where Afta tells me how to collect publishing.
It's not boring. It's so cool. But I know so many people out there that could benefit so much from this information.
100%. Or I just found out that as an artist, you can get this is the lamest shit I'll say, and then we'll move on to something fun. Okay. You can get health insurance as an artist with some of the rights organizations that collect royalties. They'll offer health insurance plans. Because as an artist, you don't get health insurance from anywhere.
You don't do these kinds of things?
Explain.
How come, since you've done it for yourself and you've done it so fucking beautifully and you're so, you have so much knowledge in this area, how come you've never created some kind of, group or something for you to, teach other artists to do
I tell all of the artists I work with all the time.
But it would be cool if you had, especially if it was something, geared more toward, younger artists.
It's always going to be boring. That's the issue. All this information exists. It's just always boring.
So you can't make it cool. Make a song about it. Turn it into a song. Please.
All I can think of is do you remember watching cartoons as a kid? And then it would be a hip hop. Hey everybody, I'm here to slay.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm imagining.
Head ass.
Can you do that even for TikTok? As a fun TikTok?
Yo, there's this guy. He makes songs. I'll show you after. But he makes songs about political issues, and they're really hee type of songs. But he's talking about the darkest shit. But he has facts and stuff.
But isn't it cool? You watch it, right?
It's the best shit ever.
After this, it's calling on you, bro. I'm sorry, Mom. This is your next call.
It's so lame, but if enough people want it, I'll do it.
To be honest with you, I feel like you and Shavar should collaborate on something like that because I know he's such a hip hop head too, and that cartoon that you just
hey everybody, let's collect our royalties.
Right up his alley. Where did your name come from?
Every single time.
Why?
It's always funny because everybody asks me that. That's all.
Because I can't for the life of me figure out what could.
I started dropping music when I was 13 maybe, under a different name. That's and crazy. Just making beats and shit and dropping them on SoundCloud. And I gained a pretty decent following doing that actually. And kind of long story short, I met a really awful girl that I involved my life with and started dating. And then
always a girl.
Oh man.
Always a girl.
Just
she was bad as hell too, wasn't she?
She was bad. She was the most impulsive, like just the worst.
I want to date her
like-
just talking about this.
It was just bad news from day one. You already know. And anyways, we broke up or whatever, and I was like, okay, I need a fresh start. And like, I didn't want to make the beats that I was making anymore. I like wanted to focus more on the artistry and singing and whatever. And so me and the boys would always go to shisha lounges because that's all there is to do in Richmond Hill when you're like 18 years old.
Yeah.
And just sit there till like 3 a.m. playing cards.
Sounds so much fun.
It was. It genuinely was.
Yeah.
So then my boy's like, yo, what are you going to do like after you leave Richmond Hill? And I was like,
No way.
I swear to God. So I just like took those two together and
That's so fire.
that's that. Yeah.
I love the name. It has like
Thanks.
it's very like it sounds good. And now the story's so cute too. What's your favorite song that you've ever made?
I don't know my favorite, but one of my favorites probably is a song called Call List. And it's always a song that like has like 4 views on it. And it really is.
It's okay. Those are the ones that pop up after.
Yeah, 100%.
That's so funny. Okay.
And
What is
the
it about?
song is a conversation. It's like a fictional conversation between me and a chauffeur about how I'm like sort of tired of, bullshitting around and talking about nothing. And it comes, it's in the first album. It comes at a pivotal point in the story of the album where I'm sort of like, okay, what else? Because like people where I'm from in Iran, where I was born, they're getting fucking slaughtered. They're getting persecuted, imprisoned, whatever. And at the same time, like, there's just tons of different things on my head. And so there's this like beautiful third verse that is like the hardest thing to perform ever. Like I don't think I could ever do it live because
Really?
it's just one breath, like
I have to listen to this.
not 32 bars, probably 16 bars in a row. Like,
Is it on Spotify?
Yeah, it's on everything.
Oh, that's fire. I have to listen to this.
And
Okay.
yeah, it's one of my favorite songs of all time.
That's pretty cool. Just because of like the depth of like the conversations or like the skill that it took
I
to-
think it's just it's a very unique song, and I think what I said on that song stood the test of time incredibly well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Tell me more about your filmmaking journey because I never really looked into that.
Yeah, I went to film school
Okay.
and dropped out to make music.
Oh,
I've been
sounds
making
like a success story to me.
Yeah.
To be honest.
I've been making like short films and YouTube videos and stuff since I was 12, which was the same time I started making music. So I like try to intertwine my two loves.
That's awesome.
And I mostly score films now. I also write all my music videos and all
I was
that
gonna
kind of
ask you about that too. Wait, but if somebody wanted to find like a film that you've worked on, what would you recommend they start with?
For my first album, I made a short film. It's
Okay.
called Tehranto, and it's really good. And
Okay.
we made it with like $4, and I almost died a couple times. It was great.
Really?
Yeah, it was a really
That's so
sick
dope.
experience.
Do you have like friends that like support you on this
Yeah,
journey that you're on?
100%. You have to. You
Yeah,
can't.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
Okay. What about your family? Are they supportive?
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
That's
Like,
special
It's
as
very
a Persian
special.
person.
Well, they were never not supportive, but once I was like, look, I'm making money doing this, they were like, oh, okay, like you're doing the thing, right? Like you're not pretending to do the thing, you're doing the thing. So then it's a little different.
How does that make you feel about like I don't know, like for me I get it cuz at the end of the day they're your parents, they're your family, they're concerned about you. They want to make sure that you're doing something that's going to provide stability for you. But on the other hand, it's like why does there have to be money for you guys to believe in my vision, bro? Just let me cook.
No, my mom loves my music.
Yeah.
Obviously she's my mom, so she's always worried about me.
Yeah,
But,
for sure.
Yeah.
Does she
she's a
show your
fan.
music to like your
I told her not to. I'm like, please stop.
Why?
Because she's like, Firuze Khanum, come here. And then my song's like, I fucked your bitch.
That's I'm so fucking dead. That's so funny.
Wow, it's so good.
I love that. That's hilarious. On a slightly less hilarious note, I wanted to say thank you so much for being one of those people who definitely like really stood up for Persians during what was going on
Yeah,
in the last
man.
protests and vocalizing like your, you know, like your perspective as an artist. I know it's not easy to do, and I know that you've always been that way even before the Women Life Freedom movement. I know that you were always making music in support of the Persian people. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
I mean, what do you want to talk about?
Where does that come from? Like, where is...
I had sort of like a very eye-opening experience making my first album because, like, just for some background, I always thought that like it was really cringy to be like, yeah, I'm a rapper, I'm Persian, and I'm like, okay. Still to this day, I'm like, being from somewhere isn't a creative direction choice, right?
Tell
Like,
Drake that.
it's a yeah. Putting on for a place is one thing, right?
Okay.
Saying like, yo, I'm proud of where I'm from is one thing.
Yeah.
But being like, that is my personality trait is lame as fuck.
Yeah, I
Like,
feel you.
it still is lame as fuck. But yeah, so I always like consciously steered clear of being too involved in my roots, right?
Okay.
Then in my first album, I knew I wanted to do like a big concept piece, and the album takes place in the future. It takes place in a fictional place called Tehranto, which was like a between here and there of like Iran and here, but it's also like the dictatorship. It like echoes sort of the Iranian like climate, if you will. And so to make that album, I had to like do a lot of research, like a lot of research into, you know, what was the reason. First of all, what is the reason you and I are sitting here instead of sitting 15,000 kilometers, you know,
Yeah.
away from here? It's an interesting question to like
Yeah.
ponder. I mean, it sounds stupid, but you like, I shouldn't be here. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I feel you. Like, what makes me any different from anybody?
Yeah, and like what makes me have to be here, and like
Yeah.
what decisions were made by my parents, what decisions were made by not my parents.
I actually think about that a lot. So
Yeah.
it's not stupid. I feel you.
So learning about those things puts into perspective a couple of really important concepts that can change someone's perspective on life. One is like colonialism and like the problem or the problems it causes, right? In terms of foreign interference, and like then you look into like Red Scare, and then you look into like, oh, Iran's not the only country where this happened, and the CIA overthrew a democratically elected government. And then once you kind of fall down the rabbit hole, you're like, I like have to speak up about this. It's not even I want to speak up about this. It's like, here's a problem that's, by the way, not just an Iranian problem. It's like a problem of the global South. It's a problem of like the oppressed people everywhere and the colonized people everywhere. Iran, Congo, you know, all of South America during COINTELPRO in the 1900s, whatever. But then this specific topic is close to me because I'm Iranian, because my parents immigrated because of the things that happened as a result of the revolution. And so it's like, it's how you're not going to speak out about the brutality that came about from the Islamic Republic. How you're not going to speak out about, I'm here, I have my own rights. I'm not going to turn around and say, okay, fuck you, like, you don't have
doesn't
rights.
affect
I don't give a
me,
shit. It
yeah.
doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, a flip of the coin, and I could have been any of those kids who, like, lost their life, right?
For sure. And honestly, tables can always turn too. So, you know, like just because we're
Yeah.
here right now doesn't mean we'll always be here. That's always what I try to tell people in terms of anything that's like, it's funny because people always think that like, it's not even that they do this consciously, but because they're so far removed from what's happening, they just almost even the most sincerest of people, right? Because when it was happening, I had conversations with a lot of different types of people. Some people like you and I, like, oh yeah, like we should talk about it. If you create art, like make art about it, you know, like other people completely quiet, just didn't want to get involved for whatever reason. But I also spoke to a lot of people who did want to say something about it, but they almost kind of felt like it was fake of them to speak up and say something
Explain
about
what
it.
you mean by that.
They felt like, okay, this in no way affects me. I'm so far removed from the situation. Like, maybe I wasn't even born there. Yeah, I'm Persian, but I wasn't even born there. I don't even really know what's going on. You know what I mean? So for me to now be like an advocate on people's behalf, it's almost fake and insincere because like I don't feel that connection.
Okay, and there's an important distinction here. It's like we're not here meant to be an advocate. We're meant to be a megaphone.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my or your job to point the ship. It's my or your job to hoist the sail and just make sure it continues forward. It's not up to you or me who lives here to decide what's best for people who live there. It's just if people who live there say, I've had enough of this shit, and then their internet gets shut off, it's up to us to say, they've had enough of this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you. I like that a lot, actually. Can you say what you said again? That was cool. No, genuinely.
You're meant to be a megaphone, not like an not like an advocate. Like
You said something like you're not meant to point the ship. You're
meant to hoist the sail.
That's so dope. I love that. That's fire. I'm gonna think about that at 4 a.m.
and a lot of people did a poor job of that and started advocating their own weird beliefs and putting their own spin on it. And it's like nobody fucking asked for your ill-informed, out-of-touch opinion. Just like kind of keep pushing the message and listen to the voices on the ground, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's not up to you or I to like decide what's gonna happen.
I agree with that, with your perspective on that, but also I will say I don't think it's meant to be easy. I don't think it's meant to be easy to speak up about these kinds of things. Like, it's hard even now just talking about it, because it's like, how do you put this whole thing into like just words, you know what I mean? Or like, what's the right way to, like, obviously you have a better standpoint on it because you have been doing it for so long, but I get it. It's not easy, but I think what you're saying is like the best thing. Just listen to the people that are dealing with it and just act as a megaphone and just get the voices heard. Yeah.
That's all it's about. It's not, and this is why I'm gonna put a whole group of people on blast. People are like, yeah, let's bring the fucking monarchy back. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, we're going back to feudalism now? What the fuck is wrong with you guys? Like, talking about bringing back, like, the Shah's son. The Shah's sons lived in the fucking, in the U.S. for, like, 35 years. Like, who the fuck is that? Like, you know what I mean? Obviously, they would want someone to lead them who's, like, lived in Iran within the last decade at least. Like, you know what I mean?
Also, it's like, why are we still talking about them? Like, so much has happened since the monarchy, and they have been nowhere to be seen. Other than doing, like, press conferences here and there and showing up
By
on
the way,
news.
press conferences for, like, APAC, for, like, the Israel lobby.
Yeah, like...
Get the fuck out of here.
It's like, why are we even talking about that? There's, like, real-time freaking warriors, like, our age, that are, like, leading these movements and out on the streets and whatever, and we don't give them any recognition, but we want to talk about these fucking people that may or may not have had a good idea about how to fucking... I don't get it either. I feel you. I feel like it's the boomers.
It's the millennials too, though.
You think so?
A little bit, yeah.
I feel like it's such a like it's a boomer thing that I hear when I'm like in my mom's circle. Like,
It's a big
back
boomer
Shah.
It is a
And
huge
it's like,
boomer
bro,
thing.
fuck Shah, bro.
Yeah, fuck that guy too. Like, obviously the dictatorship now is worse, but you're just saying like, yo, I preferred this dictator to this dictator.
That makes me mad, because I'm like, this is why it's taking so much longer and it's so much harder, because we're not even on the same page.
It's also like, it lacks material analysis. Like, yeah, the Shah's times were better because people had more money in their pocket, by and large. People had more freedom, by and large. People had more, period, by and large, right? Yeah. So it's like, yeah, of course it's better, especially for richer people, right? Mm-hmm. Like upper middle class people, because what people also don't realize is like, like the Islamic Republic sucks. I'm the biggest fucking op of all time.
I know.
But they've like obviously done things in the last 40, 50 years especially for a lot of the poor regions, because they know that's how you get the votes, right? So it's like, love it or hate it. It's not a black and white world. But one thing is for certain, you can always move forward. But moving backwards is so stupid.
insane. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. It's like, let's solve this problem with something that barely worked hundreds of years ago.
That, by the way, clearly didn't work, because if it had worked, it would have stayed. I know, obviously, like, there was foreign interference in that case, but to say there was no civil unrest towards the Shah is ahistorical.
I know. After shit goes
Entirely.
left, people always want to come back and rewrite history. And it's like...
There was foreign interference. Don't get it twisted. This is well documented, right? But there was also a lot of people who were like, yo, fuck this guy. He just spent $1 billion on a party inviting... Do you know about this, by the way?
Tell me.
The biggest party ever was thrown by the last Shah of Iran.
Really?
I'm surprised more people don't know about this.
What was the party for? What was the premise?
25th 100th anniversary of like the Iranian dynasty.
That's crazy.
They threw it in Persepolis.
Who was invited?
Every royal in the world. And a lot of them showed up.
How much money was spent?
$1 billion adjusted for inflation.
Are you for real right now?
I swear to God. And it was one of the big driving factors of people being like, yo, we're suffering and you spent $1 billion. And $1 billion, this was a big fuck up. He spent tons of that money like flying in like a French chef and like English artisans.
Bite me. Is this what led to like the downfall of...
It was one of the pillars.
Yeah.
It wasn't the thing, but a lot of people were like, this is insanely irresponsible. 1, 2, you're not hiring like our own people.
Our own people. That's so fucked.
Yeah. And like,
have you ever
dude.
been to Iran?
Yeah. Have you?
Yeah, I have. I was born there. Were you born there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. What part of Iran were you born?
I got the receipts on my arm. You know?
Yeah, I do too. That's so funny. What is that?
It's like a influenza, measles, something. Not influenza, measles, polio, something.
I kind of like it, to be honest.
Yeah, it goes kind of hard.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, this is pretty sick. I know, it's fire.
Certified.
So you have been, you were born there and you have been to Iran.
Yeah.
You definitely are not thinking about going back, right?
I like my neck where it is.
I was just gonna say, like you make it sound like such a, like, yeah, how could you not speak up about it or whatever? But it's like, can I talk today? Anyways, it's like, how could you not speak up about it? It's like, I mean, a lot of people, like, you're a brave person for doing that, because a lot of people in your position, I know, wouldn't want to risk, like, not being able to go back home, like, or their family back home. I
have a grandfather who I don't talk to anymore. Complicated. But he, like, called my mom because I was on, like, Iranian satellite TV for one of the things I did. And he's like, tell him not to fucking, like, tell him to, like, watch out, essentially, because he's going to get us in trouble. I'm like, bitch, you're 85. Shut the fuck up. And
yeah, you've lived a good, happy life.
And also, like, they're not getting you. They got more important things to do.
But also, it's like, why did the elder people in our family don't see this as also being a mess that they were a part of, that they need to help us clean up? You know what I mean?
Facts.
It's like, don't bother me. I'm sitting comfortably in my home in Iran. It's like, you fucked up my whole life, bro.
You changed my life irreversibly.
Yeah, I feel you.
In some ways for the better. I'm not gonna cap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I lived in Canada.
Grandpa, but
it's pretty
still.
fucking sick. But like, fuck you, man. Like,
What was that, like, Boondocks thing where Riley was like, real recognize real grandpa, and you looking mad unfamiliar right now?
dude, Riley's the dopest.
This is so funny. What's on your mind lately? I'm dead ass. You know why? Because I'll tell you exactly why I'm asking this question.
Yeah.
Because today I knew that I had this episode scheduled with you, and all day I was thinking, I was like, is it a good thing or a bad thing that Afta's the one that I'm interviewing, like I'm having a podcast with today? Because I'll tell you this much. Today was not an easy day for me. Today was rough. I think I've totaled around 60 naps.
You're leading the league right now.
It's not a great day for Donya today. But I wanted to know, like, so what's on your mind, bro?
Naps are fucking lit, bro.
Ask me if I'm okay, bro.
What's
No,
on
but
my
seriously,
mind, bro?
it-
Fucking brain rot 24/7, bro. I wake up, I hear TikTok sounds in my head. Is anybody okay? Like, probably not.
But that's what I mean. Like, let's talk about it. Are we okay? Because life is hard, bro. Like,
You either laugh or you cry, like, realistically.
today I did both.
Sometimes at the same time. It's so rough. Like, the moment you're like, everyone's always like, yeah, man, like, I gotta stop scrolling. I'm like, so what? You can sit there and think about how you will never afford a home? Like,
Yeah.
what do you want to think about so bad?
I can't decide what kind of person I am. I can't decide if I care or don't care. You know? Some days I'll wake up and I'll be like, hustler mindset, bro. I'm going to the gym. I'm getting fucking 15 things done. I'm building a business by 6 p.m. By 8 p.m., I'm dead, you know? Like,
The next day, you're like, fuck the racism factory.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sleep.
Literally, the next day I wake up and I'm like, I'm going to move to Indonesia. But how do I get my dogs there?
Oh, man. Nah, don't worry, bro. Nobody's okay. Nobody's all right, I think.
I need to hear that every once in a while.
Yeah.
I wish people would. That's part of the premise of why I started my podcast. I wish people would admit that we're like all not exactly okay.
Yeah. I think that's what like you're supposed to do as an artist. But like, you know what I mean? Like, you're supposed to be like, hey,
Not okay.
I'm not okay. And that's okay.
So what? People could post TikToks about you and call you a homeless person like Billy Ray Cyrus? It's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, you know?
But the internet will make fun of you no matter what.
I don't even care about that anymore. Like, it's...
Of course you don't, because you can look at the most successful person you know, and if you scroll far enough, someone will be like, fuck that guy, his hair is ugly.
But is that helpful? Like, is it
To
helpful?
whom?
Not that guy. Fuck that guy. I mean, like, what you're saying of, like, artists are supposed to make art about that, about life being, like...
Think about the toughest time in your life and a song that, like, really got, or like a movie, or like it's something where you watched it and you were like, it'll be okay.
They made me watch... do you know the song Sange Sabur? No. You don't know Sange Sabur?
I probably heard it, but not off the top of my
It's
head.
like Mohsen Chavush. It's like... It's a song where it's like...
Bejo Maramo.
Pir shodan pir toye javuni.
No, that's a bar.
It's a bar. You have to listen to this. So that song, I've told all my friends, I'm like, if you ever hear that song playing from my room, I am not okay. Like, check on me. And I remember I was living with Ali at the time, and I was playing that song, and he just opens the door, and I'm just sprawled out on the floor like this, with all my limbs like starfished out, staring in the ceiling, and I'm crying, and it's so sad because my tears are going back into my eyes. And honestly, I couldn't tell you what I was crying about.
Sometimes you just gotta cry it out.
Yeah.
But that's that's good. Like, that song was important to you.
Yeah.
Important to you.
I watched it when I was in grade 2. They made us watch the movie about how, like, drugs kill you.
Oh.
And this guy's dad had to, like, inject drugs into his veins, like, literally, because he was going through such bad withdrawals he was gonna die, but then he
Yeah.
ended up dying anyways.
Whoa.
I watched that in grade 2.
That's a little on the nose.
They were like, this is what happens when you do drugs.
And then right after that, they're like, also now let's learn 3 times 3, and like,
Yeah,
you're like,
literally.
what?
Carry on
How
with our
would we-
days. Yeah.
Which shape does the triangle go to? You're like, bro, we watched someone do heroin.
Watch his dad kill him.
Yeah,
Like,
what the
bro,
fuck
like,
are we talking about?
It's literally, so much of my experience living in Iran was so traumatizing to me.
I'm so lucky that like I moved here young, because like everyone is just like, yo, they just like force feed you like fear.
Oh, it's horrible.
Just like from day one, like,
But it's also so fun.
yeah, like the culture. But
It's
like,
okay, well, it's like this, right? Wait, how old were you when you moved
dude,
here?
literally 1.
Oh.
Yeah, man. 1.5.
Bro, stop repping for us, man. You're not even Persian. I'm kidding. Honestly, low-key, you might be a little bit more Persian than
Nah,
me.
cap.
You know more than I do
About?
about, like, fucking Shah and...
But that's just like history. I'm just a little like on the spectrum.
I also... Aren't we all?
I'm a spectrum warrior.
I also, like, blocked out a lot of the information that I did have because it was so traumatizing to me.
Yeah.
Did you know that where I lived in Iran, you know Zindan Evin? Mm-hmm. We lived right across from
That's
it.
kind of fucked up.
My bedroom window as a child, I had a bunk bed with my brother who's 3 years older than me. was right against, like, it was on the other side of the street.
Whoa.
And we would hear them, like, doing, like, these, like, execution, like, shots and stuff
Jesus
like
Christ.
that. Like, all hours of the day, night. You know, and like honestly, like I know it's so fucked up to say this, but I have like I don't even know. Like now you say phobia, everyone's like everybody has a phobia of something, but it's like.
But they're like, I saw a spider. You're like, heard people die.
And I was like 6.
Yeah,
you know, like
that's a real phobia, bitch.
But also like when I hear azan,
Oh yeah.
I get like anxiety and I
Goosebumps and
hate
shit.
that because I'm like, bro, like why? Like it's supposed to be like a peaceful thing, like whatever. But it's because I remember it would always be some kind of like azan, whatever. And then these fucking
Some fuck shit.
Yeah. Why are you laughing?
Because
bro?
it's so fucked up. Like,
It's so fucked, bro.
and I hear all the people who like feel like that. You know what I mean? All the Iranian people, especially, they're like, oh, I fucking every time I hear it, you know, fucking blah 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 blah. But I'm like, on the other end, like, yo, why are Iranians so fucking insanely like Islamophobic?
That is true.
I get it. I understand it
I
to
get
some
it too.
level.
Because it's not, to be honest, this is the thing, right? It becomes difficult to separate the religion from these shitty aspects that we're talking
100%.
about. And it's not the religion. I've met some really, really cool, amazing fucking Muslim people that had nothing but good intentions for people. Like,
My best friend, I don't know why I said that. No, my good friend Tehran, the comedian, he was like, yeah, nobody's ever talking like they're like, yeah, fuck these like Islamic people. They're not talking about like Indonesians or whatever. They're not talking about like people in like Myanmar. You know what I mean? It's like they're not talking about like Uyghurs. They're talking about like Arabs.
yeah. Yeah.
It's just like a specific like subsect.
It's not even Arabs. It's these regime motherfuckers
Yeah.
that do everything
And, like,
in the name
the
of Islam.
ISIS Taliban type
Yeah.
bees and like the Al Qaeda type bees. And I'm like, okay, that's like, what is that? Like, let's be super like conservative with our estimate, or like really the opposite. Let's be really liberal with our estimate. Say like fucking 5%.
Yeah.
No, it can't even possibly be 5%.
Yeah.
It's got to be like 1 to 2%.
Oh yeah, like what Muslims are like the biggest population of any religion in the
Yeah.
world.
And it's like,
Isn't that true?
I'm not a, yeah, it is.
true, right?
I'm not a fucking religious person, but it's like,
I mean, now I'm not a religious person either after hearing what I
yeah,
heard.
no shit.
Think back home. Do you have any traumatizing Persian stories? Please tell me.
Traumatizing.
Make me feel
Persian
better, bro.
stories.
You're such a what the hell?
I don't know, man. Like, not really. Like
You were one, but you don't have any like
every time I
little-
went to Iran, like I just like would be bored in my grandfather's house and like be
Lucky.
mad that like the prayer woke me up too early in the morning because he was right next to the mosque. So he's just like sleeping. I'm like 8. Oh. They're like, nah, please don't. You know what I mean?
I'm dead. I feel you. But so yeah, we're all collectively not that great right now.
No, we're not good. We're not all right.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
are some things you're struggling with?
Welcome to therapy hour.
I need my puffer. Babe,
Where's-
can I have my puffer?
Bring the puffer. That's crazy work.
What
I think
The Azan killed
I don't
me.
know. It's a call to puffer.
He's dying. He's just walking away. He's dying, hearing his fucking. Thank you.
What are we not okay about? Dude, I'm not okay about the fact that like life is just so fucking expensive that it like becomes infinitely harder. Like, does that might have been too simplistic, but like
That's exactly where my mind's
you
at
could
right
you
now.
could fucking work at a gas station and like buy a house and like beat your wife or whatever in the 1950s, you know, because that's what she did, right?
That's what you do, yeah.
You're like, oh, dinner's cold, I'm gonna do a domestic, and then but now you can't even buy the house, let alone
Such a
get
Theo Von
married.
comment to make. That's so funny.
No, but for real, like you could work at the racism factory and buy your house.
Yeah.
And like a car and like have a wife and 2 kids and
I know nowadays, even if you don't beat your wife, you can't afford a house.
yeah.
It's like, bro,
Even if you
lose
don't
either
have
way.
a wife, you still can't afford a house.
Especially if you don't have a wife. you
Yeah,
can't
you're
afford a-
cooked. You got
It's
one
the same-
income.
Yeah, you're cooked.
It's over. And so it's like I hate when boomers are like, y'all just don't work hard enough. And I'm like, for what? Like,
Yeah.
so
for
that I
real.
can fall short, but also not have my youth.
Yeah, like you could put my mom's resume on a fucking sticky note, bro. Like,
I came
like-
straight out of high school and bought a house. Okay.
yeah, and the women were all like nice stay-at-home wives, and their husbands worked one.
Well,
very
they all
simple
like,
job.
the women, they were nice. They were like putting Visine in their husband's coffee until they had heart attacks.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, it's a thing.
Visine
They would
gives you
try.
heart attacks?
Okay, so before no fault divorce, this is such a weird topic.
Babe, did you hear that? Sleep with one eye open tonight.
One dry eye open. Before they had like no fault divorce, which is like pretty cool because like sometimes you just want to get divorced, right?
Yeah.
Like women would like kill their husbands and like they would put Visine in their drinks because it's pretty like inconspicuous. They would do it over time and like they'd have like I think heart attacks or something.
That doesn't bother me as much as it should.
Well, because most of the time it was like the guy who was beating the shit out of his wife and
yeah, I support
fucking the
that.
secretary. Or
Gotta do what you
whatever.
gotta do. But yeah, to be honest, that is one of the prevailing things. And it's also like, not only is it just hard to survive in general nowadays, like being who we are as fucking the most fucked up and disadvantaged generation to ever
Yeah.
walk this planet, but also it's like, how come you could never make money doing just what you love? How come it's never that simple?
It's not. Well, but I have a question for you because, like, imagine how happy we'd be if our rent was like $550 a month.
Imagine how happy we'd be if we didn't have to pay rent.
Okay, that's even better. Obviously, no shit. But if school was like borderline free and like housing was like accessible, we wouldn't be sitting here being like, I'm not okay right now. I swear to God.
Yeah, I would not be listening to Ali fucking
No.
Sangus. I would
No,
fucking Lex
because
all
you
that.
would work a part-time job and make your whatever, let's say $900 that you need per month, and then you'd spend the rest of the fucking time doing anything else,
Yeah, that's true.
and you would be fine. And what I don't understand, well, I do understand, but obviously any country who comes and says, "Yo, we're gonna fix the housing problem," and yeah, we're gonna tank our fucking housing market in a way in terms of like people who invested in housing, but then like we'll never have this problem ever again. That country's gonna win, like long term. And you know what that country is? That country's China, and that's why they're cooking ass
Yeah.
right now. Because they're just like, yo, like, fuck you. They're like, fuck you. Like, we'll just make housing. Like,
That's so true.
and then everyone's like, how did China? They're like, yeah, just like give people houses and
Yeah.
like jobs.
Honestly, I had the most hilarious conversation with my dad the other day. I barely ever like speak to my dad. He's in Iran. He's fucking, I don't fucking know, twisting some rando's nipples for a living. I don't know. But I talk to him every once in a while, and he asked me that's why I told you today as a joke, I was like, ask me if I'm okay. I'm glad you didn't, because honestly, that never goes well. He asked me if I was okay on the phone, and I had this like moment where I like pondered into my thoughts.
You know what? And then you thought about it and you're like, I'm fine.
I thought about it because it's not like I talk to him every day, right? Like if my mom asked me, like, "How are you? Are you okay?" I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'm good, whatever."
Yeah.
I don't speak to him often, so when he asks me, "Are you okay?" it's a little bit more existential than I'd like it to be, you know. And then I started pondering my thoughts, and then I was like, I'm not okay. And then I started telling him why I wasn't okay. And I was like, I've been a good person my whole life. I was like, I went to school, I worked hard. And my dad's just like listening to me like go through this whole rant. And he just like pauses for a second and like he's like looking for his words and he's like, it's okay, Dukhtaram. How is everything else? How are the dogs? My guy, I think I terrified him. He was like, I don't know what the fuck. And then he called my mom.
That's crazy.
And he was like, listen, I know we don't really talk, but send help. She's not okay. My mom calls me, are you okay? Yeah, I'm good. Why? What's up?
You're like, she's like, you told your dad all this shit. You're like, yeah, the shit I tell you
It's
on a
different when
Tuesday
dad
afternoon.
asks.
Yeah, it's just, Jesus Christ.
My dad has a way of like resurfacing all my like old traumas. You know what I mean?
100%. Especially like that person who like is
Inflicted the
like,
trauma?
Yeah, it's always tough, man. For real.
It's like, why did we have to live there where I had to listen to gunshot sounds.
It'll never be okay.
I swear to God, the type of person my dad is, if you asked him, he would give you some bullshit like it builds character. Do you have any questions for me?
I feel like you shared. I feel like you.
Do you have anything you want to talk about?
Yeah. Let's. No, not really.
Really?
No, I don't. I'm not a big
But you're
talking
that guy.
I'm that guy.
Yeah, you're
I'm
that
not
guy.
the biggest talking guy. I. You know what? Like every time someone comes in for a session,
Yeah.
it's just therapy. So like I just sit there and listen.
Did you just say that you Should we just say bye right there?
We've gone off the rails. Is there any going back now?
Wait, when you do sessions for
Yeah.
other people, like
Yeah.
when you're like acting as I'm trying to find my way back.
My bad.
Trying to find my way back.
Sadness.
Right. When you do sessions for people.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna lock in. Ready? I'm not gonna laugh.
You're locked in?
I'm locked. Are you locked in?
I'm
You're not locked in, bro.
1 second.
This break is brought to you by the asthma inhaler, keeping you alive for the times you need it. Use the coupon code Inside Out Universe for 0% off.
Okay, I'm locked in. When you do sessions for people,
That was a good.
stop looking at me like
All
that.
right.
When you do sessions for people, what's your like process? Your creative
I
process.
asked them like the sad, like how
Are you okay?
Are you okay? Essentially, yeah.
Do you actually?
Yeah, and then they're
How do
like,
I book one?
"Do you have insurance?" No, I'm just playing.
I'm
People
sure
come
Dan
in-
could hook me up.
Yeah, for sure. You come in, and then usually I'm like, "What are you listening to? What are you watching?" Okay, like what kind
Porn.
of music? Yeah, okay. So then like I'm like, okay, like
Wait,
BBW
I'm your client right now.
or
I'm your client right now. Hit me.
What are you listening to these days?
Listening to some Britney Spears and some Backstreet Boys.
Cool. So right off the right off the bat, I know like Max Martin style writing. I know you want like Y2K type synths. I know what tempo roughly you want. Okay, done. Easy. That's production stuff. That's like done.
That was sick. Okay.
Okay, and then I'm like, okay, what's like, what is anything afflicting you, or like, is anything bothering you, or like, what are you going through?
I could hear gunshot sounds from my bedroom when I was 6 years old.
Yeah. So then from there, I'm thinking of images, strong phrases, anything that uses like guns or shot or bullet. And I try to find like common idioms or things that people say.
Did you just call me an idiot?
Idiom. And then once I have a strong phrase, I'm like, okay, cool. Let's keep that in mind. And like, we'll just kind of delve into it and find different aspects.
What Britney Spears Backstreet Boys song that
Hit
talks
me, baby,
about
one more time. But the hit is just like a M6 to the dome, like a hollow point round exploding someone's brain matter. Hit me, baby, just one time. Just one. That's all it takes.
Just one time.
That's it.
I need my inhaler.
No way. There's no fucking shot. What kind of mic do you have tattooed on your arm? It's a ribbon mic, but is it like a specific one?
No.
Okay. What about
This
are
was
those
one of
Audio
my
Technica turntables?
Earlier tattoos.
Touch of the tism.
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
I used to have a tattoo here that said,
see
Dad,
it.
I love you, and I covered it.
Thanks for watching this.
But anyways, if you don't have anything interesting to share, I'm fucking over it now.
Get the fuck out of my house.
No, is it just me or is it getting hot in here?
It's hot in here.
It's getting hot in here.
Alright, so
Take off all your clothes.
I will say to close, make the art that you want to make. Make the thing that you want to make.
I was gonna ask you. I was
What?
gonna say, do you have any final words?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Ready? I'll let you ask me. Lock in.
Okay,
Lock.
so this was a great podcast. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
appreciate you so much.
Yeah.
This was such a professional and serious,
Super serious.
endeavor for
I'm
both of
glad
us.
that you didn't at all use an inhaler and just did it one take.
I just had to suck it up for
Yeah,
for the sake
for
of this
sure,
interview.
For sure.
But do you have some final wisdom to share with the rest of the class?
For sure. Make the thing that you want to make the art that you want to make, and say the thing that you want to say. And don't try to like make it anything. Like I hate be yourself. It's the worst.
But it's there's so much truth to some certain
but
cliches.
maybe the correct term is be. Don't just exist. Just don't try to exist. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I always say don't do, just be.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what you mean?
You're a human being, not a human doing.
Well, right now I'm a shell of a human doing.
It's time to go cry, baby.
Anyways, I love you so much. On a real note, though, thank you so much for being here.
Namaste. Thank you for
I
having me.
actually love this. This was so much fun. This is
fun.
what I needed today. This is what the doctor
I'll
ordered.
come back for episode 99.
If I'm still in this headspace. If I'm not, I might want a different guest.
Shit.
Well,
Fuck.
let's hope that I'm not in this headspace, to be honest. Anyways, I love you guys. I'm going to link Afta's Instagram right here. Right here. There. Right. No. There. But everything will be linked in the bio. I love you guys.
Boom, bam.
Thank you so much for watching. Bye.